morning, friends. In the last session, we had a look at the method parameters, the four types of parameters of the method: the value type, reference type, then the output parameter type, and the parameter array. Now, after that, today we are again going to continue with methods. We are going to look at method overloading. Now, that's a very important concept and important that we understand it well. You can have multiple methods with the same name within a class, and how to go about doing that is what we're going to learn today with an example, with an interesting example. So please do pay attention. Do note that in the .NET framework there are many classes and methods in them which has this overloading being used very effectively, giving us so many options when you call a method from the library. So in a similar fashion, we can create our own methods with these options. So pay attention. Let us start. Join me. Hello, friends. Today's session, as already discussed, is going to be on method overloading. So as the word itself suggests, overloading means, having more of the same. So you'll have multiple methods of the same name within a class, and that is called method overloading. So we see here, there's a class program, and inside this class, I'm having this method by name M1 repeating 3 times. Now, this is allowed provided the parameters of the methods are different. See, there's a string, and there's 0 parameters. So either the number of parameters are different, like for example, I have a string int x and a string y in this case, and only string y in this case, and 0 parameter in this case. So, well, I'm going to leave it as single parameters, but I just want to show you that you can have multiple parameters. So only that the number of parameters should be different, or if the number of parameters are the same, like in these two cases, it's the same number of parameters, then the type of parameters should be different. So if these two conditions, either of these two, then such a method can be duplicated. So for example, if I put int y here, that's a problem. So I'm going to get an error here. So see here, the error says type program already defines a member called M1 with the same parameter types. So that's not allowed. So the moment I change it to string, that error disappears. Okay. So here I have multiple methods with the same name but different parameters with different results. Like if integer is passed by the end user, I'm going to type is assuming that the age is the int typed is age, I'm going to display is age. If it is the string that is typed, it's going to be name. And if nothing is typed onto the screen, then it says no parameter. So this is what we're going to try and implement. As far as the methods are concerned, they are ready now. Now let us see the implementation part inside the main method. Okay. Console.readline. Now, any data that is typed onto the screen can be captured into a string value, whether it's number or alphabets or whatever. So that's step number 1. Well, let me just also put a little console.writeline or write. Please enter your input and a colon. Right. So I'm going to capture that into a string by the name value. Now what I will do is I'm going to try and convert it to integer. So I'm going to use it int.tryParse. So int, say age is equal to int.tryParse, basically. Console.readline. And I need the parameter, the output parameter value to be captured. So I'm going to put over here int val 0. It's an initialization of a variable value, and I'm going to put val as the output type, out val. By the way, the return value is going to be a bool check, okay, not an integer. So if check is true, for example, if check means I'm able to convert it to int, then I'm going to call M1 and pass integer value. Okay, so the age gets printed. Else, there again two conditions come in. I have not typed any value or I have typed the name of the person. So if value equals null, not null, empty. In that case, M1 without any parameters to be passed. So no parameter is the result I get. Else, which means name has been typed, I'm going to call M1 with string value being passed so that the name gets typed. So this is how I would implement it. So I'm calling all three of the variants of the M1 method, the one which takes integer value, the one which takes 0 parameters, and the one which takes the string value. Now let us implement this and see. Right. So I'm going to type age 30. Your age is 30, it says, but it's stopping for an enter key press. Yeah, that's because I have this one coming in between, right? So let me just take it off. Okay. The issue here I realize is that I don't have to do a read line again. The read line, what the user has typed has already been captured into value. So here I'm going to replace this with, the value, string value. So now it should work as expected. Let us see. All right, so 30 and okay, I have removed that read line. So let me place also the press the enter key option there. So for that, let me just put it back. Okay, there it is. This is going to be value. All right, now let us run it and see. "30 years old." It says your age is 30. I'm going to type my name and it says your name is Ramesh. I'm going to type nothing. I just press enter and it says no parameters. Beautiful. All three options are working fine. So here, important thing to understand that you can have method overloading, the concept where multiple versions of the same method can reside inside the same class. Okay, the difference has to be in terms of the signature of the method. When you say the parameters, that represents the signature of the method. So parameters, if the number of parameters are different or the type of the parameter is different, then the same name method can be, typed into the same class. It's allowed, and then we can actually extract the values out and decide which method to call, which version of the method to call based on the type of data that the user types into the screen. So I'm just capturing that into a string value, the type data, and then into a bool I'm trying to pass in dot try parse the value. If it is successful, it means it's a number. So if successful, I'm going to call the one which expects an integer value, M1 with an integer value. So it returns the age of the person. Else it's a string. So if it is a string and the value is, empty, then I'm going to call the method with 0 parameters. However, if it is not empty, it's obviously the age of the person. So I'm going to call the method with string as the variable, argument that is expected. So that's how it works. So this is just an example. There are multiple different ways in which you can use method overloading. This is one of those I just thought I should share with you. I hope you found it interesting. Please do practice and let's move ahead with the next session for the next class. Okay, happy coding. Bye-bye until the next time.